Good afternoon everyone, and welcome to the FMM and me, I'm Natalie. We're coming to you from our studio, aka the cake room. Oh, maybe that's what I need to do actually. What? So I was going to make one of these door hangers but with my name on it, and we'll send this one to Bella. Maybe I need to make one that's like says the cake room, because you know that's where we are. So this afternoon I am going to show you guys how to make a lovely, I really like this actually, so like a little hanging door name thingamabob. What's its official name, Chris? Like a door plaque, a door hanger?
Door plaque.
We'll call it a door plaque. So I've used the Bright and Light Clay, which is a new one for me because I've never used it before, so it's been quite the learning curve, but I like it, and it's so light. It's like air. It's really cool. So I'm just going to find myself on the page just for a change, because then I'll be able to see you guys and answer any questions and stuff as we go along. Well, I will when our internet plays ball. Which might take a while. Okay, I'm just going to keep an... Oh, there it is. I found it. Okay. Excuse me. So yes, door hanger. I've used the Bright and Light Clay, which is this stuff, which you'll find on the website. Oh, I need to mute myself too. There we are, because no one needs to hear me twice. So yeah, Bright and Light Clay, which you'll find on the website, and it is super light, really easy to work with. And so we're going to use that, and I have used the large mix and match faces cutter. So this is dead similar to the little one I was using before when we were making the cupcake toppers or the biscuit toppers, but it's just much bigger. And I decided to go for a non-cake thing, because why not? These are interesting times, so we can mix it up a little. So I've used that, got a couple of little blossom cutters, and then I've used the ribbon cutter as well, which is a really cool thing, and I'm quite looking forward to showing you guys how this works, because it's very clever. It's very clever. So let us begin. Swap, Christy. There you go. So this is our little unicorn. So the unicorn's made with that. The background I've just cut out. I'll show you how I did that. And then for this I've used the Carnival Letters, which, hang on, let me just fetch them. I always forget something. Which are here. So it's Carnival Letters, tap it, and I'll show you how to use that as well. Where should we start? So I'll cut out the bit at the back first, and that's quite big, so I'm going to move my board out of the way and just roll onto the table because it's bigger than my little board there. And that I've done with with a pale pink. So I'm just going to grab what I had left from the other day. There we go. And I will mix some more in so that we've got plenty. So you can see it's nice and soft, and it's so easy to work with. And you can use food colours in it. So I've just used my normal, our own brand of colours. And to do this nice pale pink, there's just a tiny little bit of pink in it. So I'm going to combine these two. That should be enough. And I can pop a little more pink in if I need to. And you can see you're just kneading it much the same way as you would with sugar. And it is different. I like it, but it's different. So it has been a little bit of a learning curve, but that's okay. We like to learn stuff, don't we, Christopher?
We do.
So I've got a little favour to ask you guys that are watching us, which is, if you don't already like and follow the FMM page, please do. And if you feel so inclined, I would be grateful if you would share the video. So you can just hit that little share button. And Chris, do you want to share it onto Immaculate Confections and whatnot? Right, I'm hoping that this will be enough. And you can see how easily that's needed. And we've got this lovely smooth colour. And here we go. Oh, hi Sarah and Dale and Jen. So Jen makes wonderful things. I imagine Jen could make awesome things with this clay, actually. I very much think Jen can make awesome things with this clay. So our background it's about 8 inches. You could draw around a cake board, or I happen to have this handy little side plate that is about 8 inches big. I'm a bit attached to that plate, It was my grandpa's. It doesn't match anything else that I own, but because it was my grandpa's, I can't bear to throw it away. So anyway, you just need to know that. And you can see it rolls out really easy. And you should, so obviously this clay, it's not edible on account of being clay. So do make sure that you sort of use different tools than what you use on your sugar stuff, just to be on the safe side. Let's see if that's big enough, not quite. So I just need to make this a little thinner. If you find it sticking, which this is starting to, then you can just pop some corn flour on it. And I tend to be quite liberal with the corn flour just to make sure that it doesn't stick. And then that, oh, it's still not quite big enough. Is this not the most annoying thing in the world when this happens? Right, so a little bit that way, and just a little bit this way. And hopefully now, so I'm just going to pop that on there and cut round it. And one thing that is lovely about this is that it doesn't sort of stretch and drag when you cut, how sugar stuff does sometimes. Like I said, you see how cleanly that came away. Super, super easy to do. I'm just going to pop this back in my little bag so that it doesn't dry. And then hopefully lift the plate up. And then I've got this. So what I'm going to do is just pop it onto a piece of paper for now. And that's just so that I can move it around and everything without having to like touch it each time. It does shrink a little bit as it dries. So the one that I made earlier, this one, I did it, it's just on a bit of cardboard that I had. But you could use a cake board or anything sort of round and solid, basically. Actually, a cake board, like a thin cake card, would be perfect. I would stick it on after your clay has dried, because it does shrink away a little bit, so I just had to go back and trim it. But either way, that's absolutely fine. So I'm just going to move this out of the way, and then we'll make, oh, if I can pick it up, the decorative bit around the edge there. So for that I've used some purple, and actually I can use this bit of pale pink that I've got left. So I'm just going to add a tiny little dot of purple colouring to it, for which I need a toothpick, which I have some here. It's alright, there's always something that I forgot to get out. It's always a fun game trying to guess, what has Natalie forgotten this time? So just a tiny little bit of colour, because with these sort of really concentrated colours you don't need much to get the colour that you want. We're just after a nice sort of pale purple. You can of course mix the colours up if you fancy, but I went all pink because that first one was for, like I said, so it's got Bella on it. She's my baby cousin, or my cousin's baby. She's not a baby anymore. Does that make her my second cousin? Is my cousin's child? I don't know.
She is your first cousin once removed.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
She's a generation removed from you.
Her name is Bella, and Bella is, I'm gonna say,
She will be
7?
No, 8. This is 8.
Is she younger or older than Jack and Charlie? Oh my god, I should know this. So hopefully my aunt isn't watching. Anyway. So, which means she's 7 then, because they're not 8 yet. So, yeah, so I did it all in pinky colours, and pink and purple, because I know she likes pink and purple. But you could do whatever colours you wanted. And when we get to making the face, you'll see that it works just like the smaller cutter, and there's 1,001 different wasp names that you could do with it, different designs. So if you're doing it for boys, because I know that one of our lovely viewers, Dale, has got a multitude of grandsons, then of course you can do the same principle, same ideas, but change up the colours and the designs. Right, I'm just going to roll this out, and I've made it into a sausage so that I can roll a nice long strip. And you can see how easy it is to roll, and like it doesn't stick and it doesn't tear, and it's really super light, which I suppose is the idea on account of it being called Bright and Light Clay. Hi Jackie. Right, so I'm just going to pop some corn flour on the back, which to be honest, because it's not sticking, you probably don't need, but being used to working in sugar, one ends up obsessive about making sure that things aren't sticking. And then I'm going to use the ribbon cutter. So I'm going to use it, show you how cool it is, and then I'll show you how to set it up. Hang on, let's move that. Oh, I'm running out of space. This was not well planned. Okay, we'll have a short bit there. So you just cut that off, and that's our first bit. Because you could, I wasn't brave enough, but you totally could roll out a bit long enough to go all the way around in once. But mine's got a couple of little joins on it. And I don't think I was pressing hard enough, so I'm just going to use the little knife there. Hang on just a second. There we go. Right, cool. So that is one piece, which I will put just there, and then I'm going to cut out another one, but I'm going to start further away so that I don't run out of space. There we go. How cool is that? And so quick. And we've got this lovely little sort of frilly border to go round. Just adds a little something extra. Right. And again, I can just lose that bit in the middle. So if you want to stick bits of this to other bits of this, then it does stick to itself, or you can just use a little water, which, where have I, oh, there it is. It's okay, forgot something else. Oh, there's another bit there. So to stick these on, I am just going to, oh, hang on. Let's move that off of there for a second. So, got my old trusty water pen. I'm just going to put some water around the edge of this. And we can give it a little squeeze. You don't want too much water, but you also do want enough that it sticks. Right. And then you're just going to pop that on and just line up the bottom edges so that we get that nice little border around it. Slightly fiddly, but not too bad. And hopefully I won't need to, we'll see if I need to cut any more. Oh. So when you get to the last bit, hang on, there we go, just shuffling that in so that we've got a nice neat edge. When you get to that last bit, if you sort of put the one edge on, line it up, and then you can mark where it needs to be cut so that you get a nice sort of neat join on it. Or like I said, if you were feeling brave, you could just roll out a giant piece of and cut it all as one. But I think, do you know what, a couple of little joins in it, it's not the end of the world by any stretch. And then I'm just running that round the edge just to make sure that the edges are meeting and we've got a nice neat round border on it. There you go. So now that I've done that, I'm going to show you how to set up your ribbon cutter, which I should have done before, but you know, I didn't. And that's the last of our big bit, so I can move my board back in and then you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Is it square, Christopher? Because Chris gets antsy if it's not square.
Yeah, it's fine, don't worry.
Julie, yes, absolutely available to watch later. So this is the ribbon cutter, and like I said, it's really cool. So that unscrews, and then all these bits come off. You get straight ones and a couple of frilly ones, and basically where all these bits come apart, it means that you can slot your cutters on, like the sort of rotary blades, let's call them, I don't know, in various different combinations like that, and then you'd screw that on there. So that means you'd cut a really thin bit, or if we take these back off and put them all in the middle like that, then we're going to cut a much wider strip. And it's one of those things that is just really clever, basically. Really, really clever, and so very versatile, because you can set it up in so many ways, and it comes with that frilly cutter. So that made, as you saw, cutting that border super easy. So now we're going to use our face cutter and make our unicorn's face. Don't forget that all the equipment and stuff that I'm using is available on the FMM website, and I know that they posted the link just a little bit further up the comments there with, I believe, let me double check, there you go, 20% off. So if there's any of these bits you fancy, then now's your chance. And you should, I encourage you all to try the clay. It's quite nice making something that you know is going to last, instead of it being, you know, temporary like a lot of the sugar stuff is. Okay, so I'm just going to open up a new packet. And this, just so that you guys know, it takes, I used about just shy of a whole packet to make the first one. So it goes a pretty long way as well. And would go even further if you were making smaller things. Right. Oh, that's a horrible noise, but we're done. Yeah, we're there. So I'm going to start off with the face. So we're going to cut a big circle and 2 ears from the white. So just a little knead, and then I will roll it out. And again, if it's sticking, you can pop a little bit of corn flour. You just need to get it big enough to do the big circle for the face. Do you know, it always makes me jump when I do that because it makes such a big noise. Right, so a little bit of corn flour on the back, like so, and then we just want a nice big circle. And what I'm going to do for this one is I'll cut all my pieces and put them to one side, and then I'll assemble them afterwards, so that you can see where all the bits go. I'm going to roll some white out again because we want 2 of the ear shapes. And you can see how easy this stuff is to work with. It really is. I want to, so because I've got some left over, I'm going to have a go at doing some flowers with it. So, like I said, you know, I like learning new things. I'm also more than a little resistant to change at times, so...
Sometimes, yeah.
We'll see what you're saying, Chris. So we want 2 of our ears, so press firmly and give it a wiggle. And then that is our first ear. Oh, got a lump under there. And we'll do that again for our second ear. There it is. And that's us done with the white for now. So I'm going to pop that away. The next bit we want to make is his little snout and the inside of his ears. So for that, I just did, you just want to pop a tiny little brown and possibly a little bit of yellow, but probably mostly just brown, into your clay to get that nice pale sort of tan type colour. The base, the pink base, is 8 inches I did, because I figured that was a nice size to fit the face on and have some space for the name at the bottom and everything. So yeah, you can either draw around a cake board, or I used a little dinner plate, so whatever you've got. Right, so this is my nice pale tan colour. which, like I said, it's just a little bit of brown, and you can use your food colours in this, which is nice. And I'm just going to roll it out again. And to do the snout, is snout the right word? I think it is. We're going to cut a bit of circle that way, and then you're going to turn it round and use the cutter again, cutting the other way to make this sort of segment shape. And you want it the right sort of size to go just there. And actually I think I need to make that a little bit smaller, which is no problem because we can just take the cutter again and just sort of snip another little bit away, and hopefully that is going to give us, there we go, sort of perfect kind of size for, yeah, snout. Do you think it's the right word? Christopher, yeah. Husband, yeah. Interact with me.
Sorry.
Thanks. So I'll roll it out again, and we're going to cut another 2 of the ear shapes, because those are going to make the inside of his ears, or her ears. I don't know, do you get boy unicorns? I always think of unicorns as being a bit effeminate.
Yeah, there's no, yeah, well, unless that's why there are no unicorns anymore, because there weren't any.
That's very true. Ah, a muzzle, there we go. Not a snout. Thank you, Grace. Speaking of unicorns, I like asking people this because I swear it's something that I might... Well, no, I didn't make it up because I've seen it since. Does anybody remember a cartoon from, I think, the late 80s called The Last Unicorn? That was all about unicorns being trapped in the sea.
I knew of it, I never watched it.
Because that was some sort of terrifying, that was. It stayed with me since the late 80s. Right, so these, yeah. Okay, so looking at my original one, you can see the ears are a little bit smaller, so I must have decided to cut them down. So how I will do that, I'm going to pop some water on the white and then put the little brown bit on about there. So you've got about 1 centimetre sticking up on the top. And I'm going to do that with the other one as well. And it's just water to stick it together. So just there and there. And then if we sort of line them up round about where they'd go, you can use the cutter to trim them down, or we can do them separately. And by using the big circle there, about the same height, it just means that you're creating a shape that's going to fit perfectly around the edge of the face, like that. So those are the ears. What else do we need? Oh, he needs, okay, so she's going to need, or he, I don't know, is it she or a he? Let's go for she. I don't know. So she's going to need a horn. She will need a horn. So I've just got a little bit of yellow here. So again, just you're taking the white clay and popping in a little bit of yellow food colouring. Just a tiny wee bit to get a nice bright yellow. And then this, we want to roll it out so that it's quite thick. So that it's not too, like, we don't want it to be a feeble horn. So fairly thick there. And then we're just going to use, I need to be a bit bigger. Okay, hang on. A bit bigger, so I need a little bit more to mix in there. Let me grab a bit more white. This one can have a paler horn. And you can see you're just kneading it together the same as you would with sugar. Whether it's fondant or flour paste or whatever you're used to. Same principle. There we go. So roll it out. Like I said, it's still pretty thick. And then we can just cut the horn shape. And then what I did the other day, just for a little extra detail, is just use the little knife tool, and I'm just doing a little line and impression where those bumps match up. so that it looks like the horn is curled, sort of curly whirly on itself, like that. And then we're going to need eyes, is the last bit. Now, this, to make it black, it took quite a lot of food colouring to get it nice and dark. So when you do this, make sure that you add the food colouring and let it sit for a little while, because the colour will develop and get a bit darker with a bit of time. And if you find it's a little sticky, you can just kind of leave it out for a moment and it will start to dry, because it's just an air drying clay even. Sarah, yes, you absolutely could paint the horn gold or silver or whatever colour you fancied. And you can use petal dusts on this stuff as you would on sugar. So, like I didn't for this one, but where we've done some with the faces and things, you could absolutely use some pink petal dust to give it a little blush or whatever other detailing you wanted. Right, I'm going to cornflower that, because like I said, there's enough colour in here that it is a little on the sticky side. And we want 2 of the small ovals, so press firmly, give it a wiggle, and then just pop that out carefully. There we are. We want a second one. And I'm just running my finger around the back just so we get a really nice clean cut. There we go. Thanks, Jackie. So, Jackie, you have girl grandchildren as well, I think, and boys, if I remember rightly.
Oh, that cow looks a bit like a creepy alien.
Oh, it does look a bit like a creepy alien. Yeah, it does on the screen. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, because we'll want that again in a moment. And just make sure, I always give my hands a little wipe after I've done, or go and wash them after you've done black, just so that you don't get black in any of your other colours. So we can stick his snout together. So again, just some water, and we will stick that on there. Well, so we've got lots of grandsons then, so maybe we'll have to come back and do a boy-themed one. Oh no, absolutely. But like, I reckon you could make a pretty cool dinosaur with this.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a go at a dinosaur. So we've stuck that on, and then you're just going to take 2 little balls about the same size. And actually, the best way to get 2 balls the same size is to roll 1 ball and then just cut it in half. And then roll those into balls, just because it means that you've got the same amounts of paste on each side. We're going to pop 2 little spots of water, which I can just about see there. Stick that on, and then just press it down with the ball tool so that you get that nice little sort of dip in the middle, like that. So he's got nostrils on his muzzle, not his snout.
Not his snout.
And then the eyes are going to go about there and there. And actually, because the black is sort of a little on the sticky side, and again that's just because we've got so much colour in there to have made it black, it's going to stick on its own, just like so. The ears we will add in just a moment, but I can pop them into position there so that you can see. And then of course the horn goes just about there. So we'll stick the horn down. So I just popped a little bit of water on the back of the horn there, and we can stick it on in the middle. Let's get the ears out of the way. And I'm going to move this just for a minute. It looks a bit, actually it looks, okay, so if you wanted to make a narwhal, which is a sea unicorn. Yeah. What are they? They're like manatees with massive, great, big horns. Yeah, in fact, do you remember there was that incident on London Bridge
Oh yes.
there was a man in a pub who grabbed a narwhal tusk off the wall to go and help with that particular incident. But yeah, if you wanted to, so I reckon this would be like where you could stop for a narwhal.
Yeah.
Looking at it. They always look funny when they haven't got all the rest of their things on. It's like when we do like human faces before you stick their hair on and you've got like a bald something or someone.
Yeah,
so to do the hair, I've just got some, we're going to use some of our purple that we had around the edge and some pink and some blue. Maybe we'll go for some slightly paler pink as well. And I'll just roll these out. Let's get it smushed together nicely. Actually, there's some blue in there. Let me knead it properly. There we go. That's that one. And I've got some purple. Just there. Some of this darker pink. And then some blue. And this, to make this colour, so that's just a little bit of purple, that was just a bit of pink, just a little bit more pink, and for the blue, to get this nice soft baby blue colour, it's the blue colour that we have, and then just a tiny little bit of purple in it, and that will sort of tone it down so that you've got a baby blue instead of a kind of sky blue colour. And yes, Karen, they're so easy to do, so easy that kids totally can make their own one. To do the hair, I'm going to do it slightly differently than I did on my first one here. So I'm cutting a bit that way, just a little bit, and then we're going to cut a little bit the other way. And we can do that again with the blue. And I'll make a thinner one. I don't know, someone's asking about the subtitles. Did you tell it to make the subtitles?
No.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
But no, it will automatically generate. Or they can do. Clearly Facebook are now. Generate.
I'm sure it's probably a setting somewhere or other.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll have another purple bit. I'm going to start with 2 of each colour and then we'll see how we go. So that was my blue and my purple. Do some pink. Maybe only one of the bright pinks. We don't want, like, it's all nice pale soft pastel-y colours, so we don't want to make it too bright. And we can always cut another one. And then I've got, actually no, I do want a second one. Oh, I can't decide. Right. What do I want to do? I'll take this bit slightly bigger. Flatten it down. There we go. Cut the one way and then again the other way. So we've got these little wedges. Or segments. Did we decide that these were segment shaped? I don't know.
Well, you know, what do you fancy calling them today?
I don't know, darling. Are you making fun of me?
No, just, you know.
Right. And then a second one in the purpley colour, and that's a nice big one, that's cool. So a couple of different sizes of these is no harm, just for some variation. And then we will, I'm going to bring back the unicorn head. In fact, if I move this out of the way, and that, I don't need the plate. Oh, what was that? That was my pencil, wasn't it? Okay. No, I don't need the pencil, that's fine. Okay, let's put this here. You can probably just about see that. And then what we'll do is take the piece, see where it looks like it's going to work, and then we'll just use our, yeah, no, I'll do that in shot the next time. I've used the big cutter just to trim it. There we are. So again, this bit, maybe we'll have this bit in the middle, and we can make a little mark just to show us what sort of length it needs to be. And then use the big cutter again. And I like using the big cutter because it means that you get a nice curved edge that's going to sort of match the shape of the head underneath. And we're just taking those different colours and layering them up, because obviously unicorns have got multicoloured hair.
Obviously.
That sounded a bit sarcastic, Chris.
Oh no, obviously they're going to have
Nope, that one's a little bit long. And that one can go there. So what do you think? Maybe another little bit of blue in here. And actually I've got a nice skinny blue one. So that's going to work. A treat. Like that. And you can, if you want to, you can sort of, here we are. Let me peel that off. If you want, you can curl it round a little bit so that there's just a little flick to the hair. And I always, if I do this, I tend to always curl them in the same direction, because I think if you had them going different ways, then it would look like my hair, which is just always all over the place. And I don't know if you want your unicorn to look like it's been dragged through a hedge backwards. I'm not sure if that's ideal unicorn looks. Right. And again, look, you can just use the side of your knife tool there, just across the top, just so that you get a nice, neat edge on it all. And I think maybe, do we want a little bit more pink, or maybe it's a little bit more? Yeah, no, I think we need another bit of dark pink just to balance it out. So that can go on the edge there. So this time I want to cut it at that sort of angle so that we get that nice edge, which is about here. Oh, there you go, that was my hair. There you go. Because then now his ears will sit, or her ears, sort of there and there, which means we have got one final little flourish. Well, there's a few. Okay, the first of our final flourishes. We want some eyelashes. Now, again, we can just cut. So I'm going to cut a very slim segment, just like this one here. And we just want 2 of those. So that was the first one. Let me cut another one. There we go. And then these I will cut in half, just straight down the middle. And we're just going to pop them on 1, 2. You totally could use like a pen or some paint or a Sharpie or something to do this, but working mostly in sugar, I'm used to obviously doing everything with the sugar, so I figured we'll do it all with the clay. And this is where it's always hard to make sure that you've got things symmetrical. And as someone very kindly said the other day, sometimes we want twins, not sisters, which I thought was a lovely way of describing that. Yeah, I'm just going to give these just a little prod at the bottom, and then if you want it to be a little bit 3D, you can just kind of flick the. Oh, I think that one's got. No, it's going to come. Oh, that was my tummy. If anyone can hear that, I'm terribly sorry. It is lunchtime.
Told you to eat before. I
had a rich tea biscuit. Does that count?
No.
Right, I just prodded these down so that they are attached. So there we go, little eyelashes, and you can choose whether they sort of flick up or out or inwards or whatever. And then the final bit sort of to finish his face, and this bit is really important on any like little characters with eyes. You just want to take two really small, like, hang on. Okay, I'm doing the eye bits, and as always, I'm throwing it around the desk. Okay, let's try that again. So yeah, two tiny little white balls, really tiny ones, like that and that. We'll pop just a little bit of water on the eyes, and then I always struggle with this because when it's little bits it's so fiddly and my fat fingers can't do it. Come on. No, this really isn't happening. Okay, so he's got one eye bit. We just need to do the second one if we can make it behave. Oh my, this is, I've got it. Woohoo. Right. And then you can just give it a little prod with your ball tool just to sort of squash it down so that you get a nice circle. And that is it's just the light glinting off the eyes there. And you just need to make sure that you've got them in the same place. If you put one on this side and one on that side, it would look like it's cross-eyed, which isn't right. So that is there. And I've got to do the letters. Now, Grace has just reminded me, and I hadn't forgotten, I was coming to it, but there we are, that the lovely folk at FMM, so that's Grace, she's just commented. Grace is very nice, I like Grace. They're doing a competition for you guys. So basically, you've got 2 weeks, so that makes it Monday the 25th. To make one of these, and it can be a unicorn, or if you want to do your own design, then that's totally cool as well. But to make one, pop it onto the FMM page, send it in to them, or write a post on their page, and then we'll enter everybody into a draw to win £25 worth of FMM products. And seeing as they do make such fabulous products, it is not that is not a bad prize at all. No. So yeah, and we'd love to see what you guys make, because I was excited to do this, something different, and I think maybe we might be persuaded at a later date, possibly, I don't know, what do you think, to come back and do a boy themed one? Yeah. Because I realise everything we end up doing is girl themed. I don't know why, just like, I'm not, well yeah, but I'm not particularly girly, am I? No. Never have been. So yeah, don't forget to do that, and I'll remind you guys at the end too. So what do we want now? Should we do the letters? Should we tackle the tap it? Yes. Should we call that the official segment name for this? So I did my letters before in yellow, just because I thought it balanced nicely with the horn at the top there. So I've got a little bit more white because I know I'd need it, and I'm just going to mix that in with my yellow. And having added the extra white, I might need a touch more of the paste colour. Do I want to make that a little? Yeah, I'm going to make it just a tiny bit darker. So I just want a smidgen more of my yellow colour on there. And it is just a super tiny bit. And as always with colours, you can always add more, but you can't take it away. So don't overdo it, because you can always add a little bit more if you need to. Jackie, I like tappets too. I know that there's lots of people that are a bit frightened of tappets, but I think you just need to know how to use them properly, really. And as with anything, persevere and practice. So I think, shall I put my own name on this? Shall I do that? Is that a little bit weird? Do that. Or actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it for Grace, and then I'll post it to her. And then I expect photos of it up in your bedroom. There we go. And also, Grace is a shorter name than Natalie. So I'm just going to roll this out. Oh, I appear to have picked up some blue from somewhere. Oh, look. I don't even know.
You don't?
I've got blue on my thumbs. Not even sure where that came from. Oh, and Sarah too. See, look, love the tappets. Tappets are fantastic. And do you know what? And now it's on my rolling pin too. Well, this is how not to colour things.
What are you doing?
I'm just going to turn it over. That's what I'm doing. So again, just a little bit of cornflour so that we're not sticking. Tappets. I have been using tappets for years and years and years because I can't pipe. So I always hated when I finished a birthday cake or something and you got this awesome looking cake there and you're really chuffed with it and then you got to put the happy birthday on. I was never ever any good at writing it with never any good at writing it with my hands, like with royal icing is what I'm saying. So tappets were always the answer. It just meant that sometimes you think the neighbours must have wondered what on earth I was doing sort of late at night with these flicking noises doing the letters. So Sarah says, is there a unicorn cupcake size cutter in the unicorn? I don't understand the question.
I think is there a smaller cutter?
Oh, there is. Have you...
I think that's what you mean.
Christopher, fetch it. It's just there. Mush. It's got the eyes in it. That's it. So this is the little one that you might have seen me using as well. You can see it's got very similar shapes. The only bit that it doesn't have is the unicorn horn, but you can do that two ways. You can either cut an ear and cut it in half to make the horn shape, or make the little segment doing the cut that way and the cut that way like we did for the hair, and again trim it down to make the horn and put those lines in it. So you can absolutely follow this pattern but with that smaller one to do biscuits or cupcakes or whatever you fancy. So I'm going to pop some cornflour on here and I'm going to just cut it into strips that are about the sort of height of the letters on the tappet, and actually I'm going to have more than enough here, so if any of them go wrong I've got plenty to work with. So what do we need? We need a G. Yes, this one here. Yeah. So I'm going to press firmly and give it a wiggle, turn it over, and you can just make sure, just give it a little, actually no, this one hasn't worked. It is, so I have found, because the clay is so light, it is a slightly different procedure. But like we said, it's just practice and what you're used to. So I'm going to peel that off, give it a little flick, and there's our G. So you can see they're not hard to use. I've never understood why like people don't like them. So I really like, there's foliage all sorts tappet that I use a lot that people get funny about. So how long does it take for the clay to dry? Not very long. I don't have an official answer to that, Jackie. Grace, do we have an official answer for how long it takes for the clay to dry? Because I'll be honest, I made the thing and then potted off. Really. That's our R. Actually, I think the mistake I did with that first one is it wasn't quite thin enough. So I'm just going to give this another little roll. And again, plenty of corn flour just so that we're not sticking or getting stuck in the shape. Hang on. So this happens sometimes as well. If you've got if you've used them before and there's anything stuck in any of the like the bits you don't need, so like the inside of the A there, make sure that you dig that out with a scribe or a pin, whatever, because it's going to make it harder to use it again. And so because the A is on the end, it's a harder one to flick, but if I do it over the edge like that, then there's somewhere for it to go. And what you can do, a little tip for you here, oh, I totally could have looked at the packet, couldn't I?
Air dries to a firm consistency within around 24 hours. Sorry, Grace didn't know.
Oh, there you go. Fortunately, we had Chris to do the clever thing and read the packaging. Yes, if you're struggling to get them out a little bit, instead of flicking them on your board, do it on your petal pad, just because it's softer, so you're not going to damage the tappet or anything, but you can give it some welly if it doesn't want to come out. Because sometimes they don't, especially with some of the smaller ones. And I really like this font. I think it's a really fun, cheerful one. So this is the Carnival set. So it's all the uppercase letters and the numbers as well, as always. So there is the C, which means all we need now is an E. Thankfully, it's an easy name to spell.
Why you picked it?
Yep, I am terrible at spelling. Well, and I couldn't do Christopher because we'd be here all day making Christopher. Right, I'm going to go in for the E again. It wasn't quite thin enough. There we go. G-R-A-C-E. That's better. And that, you can just give it a little rub with your finger if you need to make sure that it is cut through. And then sometimes if you get that bit come out, we can just pull it away there. There we go. So that is our brace. And then an optional thing, if you want to, I've put some little blossoms on here. But what I might do is assemble it and then we'll see how it looks. And actually let me squish this and put it away, save it for later. Because yeah, I reckon if we do a boy one, I think we should do a dinosaur. Yeah. Because I think with the horn and the ears and stuff, and maybe like a triceratops or something. I don't know. I don't want to overcommit at this point.
Yeah, let's conversation after.
Right, just going to move this out of the way. That will come off without a problem. I just don't want to get it stuck on my shape. There we are. So I've got my pink bit from earlier, and we just want to put the unicorn, and I did it so that the horn, I was going to say the corn, but no, it's
not the corn.
No, but it is called a unicorn, not a unihorn. Or is that a unihorn? And it's part, like the unicorn has a unihorn.
I think we're getting, I don't know.
So he's going to go in the middle there, so I'm just going to pop some water on the back. And I've done it just on the bottom of the horn because the top that's sticking out we don't need to wet, obviously. I'm just going to line that up about there and press him down. So now we can add on his ears. So again, I'm going to wet the back of the ears. They're going to go, like they sit kind of in between his forelock and his eyelashes, or her eyelashes. I don't know why I keep calling him a him. He could be a him. I don't know. Equality for unicorns. Mm. There we go. Oh, look, he's cute. Right, and then we can put the letters on. Now, I like to, when I'm doing with the letters, it's really handy if you've got a name with an odd number of letters, because it means you have a middle one. So I always place them starting in the middle and then just try and get them evenly spaced either side, because it's one of those things, it sounds really silly, but it's quite hard to do. And this, because this stuff sticks to itself and these letters are just little and light, you can see I'm just pressing them down. I'm not even going to take them back off to wet or anything. So there you go. If you were going for a sort of more minimalist look, then you could leave it like that. But I think that I might add a couple of little flowers, which if I'm going to pop them down here, then I think I'm going to go for some pink, some of the darker pink, and that, yeah, so we'll go for the pinks, I think. Hang on. So I'm just going to roll out a little bit of pink. Again, a wee bit of cornflower if you're sticking. And just use the little blossom cutter to cut out a couple of little flowers. Shall I do one in his hair as well?
Yeah.
Her hair, what do you think?
Yeah.
And then just pop them on my hand and just use the other end of the ball tool, just like that. So it just cups them a little bit so that we've got a little bit of shape there. And I think we can have one down here. And having cupped it to make the shape, I've now smushed that, but let me lift that back up. There we go. See, like, these things do happen. Or, of course, you can pop it onto your foam pad. That works too. Just to give it a little bit of shape there. So we can pop two of them just down here. And then maybe we'll just have one in his hair. See, I don't want to overdo it because I know that Grace isn't terribly like pink and flowery. Like I'm not really. So again, just giving it a little squish to make some shape, and that can just sit right there, and I can just use the smaller end of the ball tool. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? So that it's sitting up a little bit higher. So I'm just going to take a ball of pink and a little spot of water. Oh, I'm completely out of shot. Could you pay attention, please, Christopher?
Sorry.
Right. So I've just popped a little ball of pink just there, so that when I put the flower on, like, it's sitting quite high in line with the hair rather than the horn, just there. And then we can take just a tiny little bit of yellow. I'm just going to make a tiny little ball to pop in the middle of the flowers as a centre. And I decided to do that. Again, it's nice because the yellow in the middle of the flowers sort of echoes the colour for the horn and the letters and everything. Oh, do you know me? And I can't move little balls around. I just drop them. Right. And there we go. And I honestly am going to post it to you, Grace, and I expect to see photos of it on the door. Or alternatively, you could make your own one.
Yeah.
So that is that. Now, what I would do, leave it to dry. Like I said, it does shrink ever so slightly as it dries. So leave it to dry and then cut out. Well, you're either going to use a cake board or cut out a piece of cardboard to stick behind it, which you can do just like with a Pritt stick or PVA glue or something. And the wonderful thing is that it is so, like, I cannot tell you how light it is, that to attach it, I just had a bit of yellow wool that I found somewhere, and some blobs out of a hot glue gun. But to be honest, I think if you wanted to, you could even do it with some sellotape, or you could staple the string on before you attach it to the front. But yeah, it's so light that it really isn't too much of a challenge to get that to stay. So there you go. Bright and light clay to make a lovely door plaque for a little kid, or indeed a grown-up one. Yeah, I think we may well be persuaded. If you've enjoyed it, let us know, and we may well be persuaded to come back and see if we can do a dinosaur in like some brighter colours or something like that. And I'll do that one for Chris because you like dinosaurs, don't you?
Yeah.
So don't forget that we're going to do a competition for you guys. So if you make one of these, take a picture of it, post it on the FMM page, or send it to us, or however you prefer. And we're going to do sort of like a random draw, enter in the competition to win £25 worth of FMM products, which is always good news because they're fantastic products and I use them lots and they're really good. This was the Bright and Light Clay, which you will find on the website. They've got the 20% off, so if you do want to have a go at this, now's your time to buy that kit and equipment. And yeah, I don't know, is there anything else that I need to say? I hope you guys enjoyed that. Something different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll send one to Bella and the other one to Grace. And you know what? Because it is so light, it won't cost too much to post either. Mm-hmm. So there we go, added bonus. Yeah, we may well be, like I say, persuaded to come back to do dinosaur. If you liked making the faces, we did 2 lives previously, a couple of weeks ago on a Fridays, which you'll find if you go onto videos on the FMM page, you'll find them there. So I was using the small mix and match faces to do like biscuit toppers or cupcake toppers. There's no reason you couldn't make little ones from the clay as well to put up on the wall or something. And what did we do? We did jungle animals, which was a lion, a tiger, a monkey and a sloth. And then before that we did the woodland ones, which I really liked actually. That was a deer, a fox, an owl,
yeah,
and a bear. So yeah, you can check those out, and all of those patterns you would be able to do with the big one or the small one. So you can make a little unicorn and stuff. So yes, thank you very much guys for joining us. Remember, it's available to see again if you need to, and we would absolutely love to see what you make, so send it in and we'll enter you into that competition. Have a lovely day and a great week, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.